It was 2 days before Christmas. Jacob Webb in the fold. The Cubs are in on everyone, or so I am told. So tear open the shutters and throw up the sash. Come on, Jed. It's time to spend that cash. It's the CHGO Cubs holiday episode presented by Toyota, and it's happening right now. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs holiday episode. What's up, everybody? Come on into the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday week. Unfortunately, the one person who's not having a fun holiday week is Luke Stuckmeyer. I got a text from him today, gentlemen, that said that he believes he has an animal living in his chest right now. So I can't imagine what that's like, but he'll be here in spirit. Joey Christopoulos, Sarah Fichter running the ones and twos in the back. Jared Wyllys joining us for 2 days in a row. And of course, it's Tuesdays with Roman. Justin Roman. What's up, Justin? How are you, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great. Good. Nothing better than, just waking up. Me and Jared were on the show yesterday. We were talking about a pre-show. Gosh, man, it'd be really great to come onto this show and talk about a signing of some kind. Well, we didn't really specify. We were a little vague, and we got
we should have been more clear.
We got exactly what we wanted. So let's hit that up off the top. For everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining in. We're seeing Corey, we're seeing Gary, we're seeing Becky, all the good ones. Get better, Luke from Corey. Thank you so much. We're all rooting for him on that front. Please like this video. And remember, again, guys, here's what's really cool about CHGO right now is we are hurtling towards 100,000 subscribers. We're like 100, 120 subscribers away. So if you're in the chat right now and you haven't already, it's the same as hitting the like button. It's completely free. It makes finding our show and other shows way easier. All you have to do is just hit the button, and we would greatly appreciate it. And hopefully we get to 100K by the end of the year. But I digress. Gentlemen, Jared, baseball man, I'm going to hit you with this first. Jacob Webb now in the fold for the Chicago Cubs, a 1-year, $1.5 million deal from who else, where else, but the Texas Rangers. I want to just get your initial impressions and thoughts about Jacob Webb now as another piece being added to the Cubs bullpen.
Well, I think, in thinking big picture, it was pretty clear coming into this offseason that they were going to have to basically restock that bullpen, because as the Cubs have done now for a few years, they're really, really good at identifying guys that are going to work nicely for them in the short term. And they get as much as they can out of them for a year, maybe two, and then they move on and you bring in the next batch of pitchers that just kind of repeats the same cycle. And this is a lot of what this feels like to me. So while like in isolation, Jacob Webb might feel a little bit like an underwhelming sort of addition, especially given like what we're hoping for and what the expectations are. I think if you look at what the roster needs have been, and what their long-term picture looks like, Jacob Webb fits in nicely, because he is going to be a big part of filling in some of those, maybe not necessarily high leverage innings, but if you're talking about bridging from your starter to the later part of the bullpen, he's a good arm for that. And for the last several years now, I have felt a lot of faith in the Cubs' ability to identify these kinds of guys, find the right fits, get the most out of them that they can, and really, pull as much value out of these arms for a year, maybe two, and then move on, so that you're not committing for the long term to any of these guys individually. So, like I said, while it might feel a little underwhelming just by itself, all things considered, it's not a bad deal.
Justin, me and you, we're big name hunters, right? So I want to get your take on this. Is this in Jed we trust when it comes to Jacob Webb being added to this bullpen mix? And what are your thoughts on the signing?
Yeah, I'm with Gary Ross in the chat. I totally think he's spot on here. Cubs saving money in the pen so they can sign/trade for two splashy names. I've said all along, I think we're going to have two big deals. whether it's free agency or trade. Now, I'm with him. I think it's a free agent deal and also a trade. All along, I thought it was going to be Cease or Amai. Well, it's not going to be Cease. Amai's still out there. So, and Jared, I echo your sentiments too. Jed is really good at getting bullpen pieces, and I'm the cheap. Nobody was jumping up and down for Brad Keller last year. No one was jumping up and down for Drew Pomeranz. But he identified guys for great value, and they were big parts of our team moving forward. So I don't want anybody upset about this move. I think it's a really good move. I mean, it's not a we're going to win the World Series move. But I think those moves are still coming. And a move like this, you got to round out your bullpen. And, by all things considered, it's a good signing.
Yeah, this feels like the anti-Nate Pearson move. And what I mean by that is, Nate Pearson threw 99 miles an hour, was a high draft pick, and was a guy in his 20s that they thought that they could kind of rehab and reclaim. Jacob Webb is not that. I mean, he's an established veteran in his early 30s, doesn't throw, he throws over 93, which is fine. But when you pull up his numbers, a lot of this stuff fits the profile of what the Cubs try and target. 44% on the four seam with a 93.4 mile per hour average. The changeup, 35% of the time he throws it at an 84.9 miles per hour. So that's a 9 mile per hour vast difference. So that changeup really kind of like jerks the knees, and he's been using it more in the last 2 seasons, up 7% from 2023. And then he brings in the sweeper. We all know that the Cubs love employing the sweeper. And Gary in the chat's right. Exit velo, 95th percentile. Hard hit rate, 89th percentile. Barrel rate, 85th percentile. So that means he is not getting hard contact, and opposing hitters are not squaring up the baseball against him. ERA 3.0 last year. Expected ERA 3.09. So that's in line. The ground ball rate looks good for our, Jared, what we talked about yesterday. Michelin star defense in the infield, 36.7%. Over 8% below the MLB average. So that's great news. The K rate dipped a little bit, but still pretty respectable. And Jared, what I found really fascinating was we keep seeing now it's like Hobie Milner, Bill Mathon, Jacob Webb, Sean Armstrong, the final Pokemon to collect them all. We're just seeing them really kind of pillage the Rangers bullpen right now. And just when you pull up the stats, like I know a lot of Cubs fans, a lot of times, Jared, we just watch our team and we watch, mostly that. We don't see the rest of the league. But when you pull up the Rangers bullpen last year, bullpen 3rd best ERA in the AL, 5th best in baseball. The whip, 2nd best in baseball. Guess who was right behind them? The Chicago Cubs, 1.23, 3rd best in baseball. The K rate, Cubs 21st, Rangers 25th. Walks, Cubs 2nd fewest, Rangers 6th fewest. So the Cubs are kind of sort of picking off of, a cousin, an American League cousin in terms of how they construct their bullpen. And clearly that bullpen had success last year.
Yeah. And I think that's a good indicator of, how they're approaching this. Because if you can look at a team and say, we can see the collective success of that bullpen, and in the more kind of granular detail kind of way, look at what individual pitchers are able to do and where they're having success, and identify the guys from that group that are going to be a good fit for what you do and how you operate as a team. I like the strategy of just looking at a team's bullpen and saying, hey, those guys worked really nicely together. Let's pick off as many of them as we can and bring them over
literally
here.
One by one.
Why not? And I know there's still some questions about, especially the back end of the bullpen, who's going to close games, who's going to pick up, your 8th inning. There's still that to kind of wrestle with. But so many oftentimes I feel like the innings that really end up biting you are, when it's the 6th inning or the 5th inning, and you need somebody who's coming in right after your starter, because oftentimes they might be coming in, they're not coming in clean. They're coming in with, there's 1 out, but there's 2 guys on base, like that sort of thing. So you need the guys who can get ground balls, the guys who don't give up hard contact. Because that's a lot of times those bridge guys that really help you win games. We put a lot of focus on, okay, my closer, but if you're getting bullied in the 6th inning, then it's, that's oftentimes just as important.
Yeah, and Godfather has a comment here. Who is closing games? I'm sorry, Daniel Palencia for me is a closer, and I think he showed that for the majority of last year. I know he had a stretch where he got hurt and people were kind of iffy, but I think he came back in the postseason and showed he is him. I would be thrilled going into next year if Daniel Palencia is your closer. Now, if you make a trade or some surprise signing and he's your 8th inning guy, even better. But I feel really good about Daniel Palencia being our closer. He is the guy that throws 100, 101, and I think he showed last year that he can thrive in that role.
Yeah, Justin, quick. Oh, Jared, please go ahead.
I was going to say, I think not only because I agree completely about Palencia, and not just for the velocity on that arm, but also like his temperament, his demeanor. He's the kind of guy that feels like he's built for those kinds of innings. So to me, the closer spot is one that I'm not super concerned about because I already kind of have Palencia, penciled in there.
Yeah. I just wanted to follow up, Justin, with that too, where I think you're making a really good point about what happens now with Palencia. Now, of course, like I'm still now when we talk about the reclamation projects out there, I still am a fan of maybe taking a look at a guy like Ryan Stanek from the New York Mets with high velocity, Michael Kopech, if he's healthy, maybe bring him in on a low rent deal and see if he can contribute. But Justin, yeah, like we talked, remember, a lot last year towards the end of the year about where Palencia's, not only what his confidence was, but what his trust level was with Craig Counsell. So for you, man, is this, if you're Daniel Palencia right now, try and put yourself in his shoes, is this a vote of confidence or is this feeling maybe a little bit more pressure on Daniel Palencia to be that closer right out of the gate because he is the guy that's throwing the heat back there now?
Yeah, I think that dude has confidence. I think everything about him oozes confidence. I think that you saw even in his post-game interviews, he wants the ball. He wants the ball in pressure situations. I mean, come on, we gave him a whole light show walk-up music thing. Like, he's our closer, right? Until you put someone else that we got on this roster that I can't anticipate, via trade or a surprise free agent. I mean, Daniel Palencia, I think, is like one of those like confident dudes that thrive in the pressure. And I just, again, everything about him to me is he's your closer going into next year. And I feel really, really good about him being our closer.
Yeah. And Jared, just to follow up on just maybe rounding out this conversation into shape, is it fair to say maybe Pete Fairbanks and the Chicago Cubs? I mean, we'll see. You never know what happens with the market, but I'm with Justin and I'm with Gary in the chat here that if you keep going out and bringing in these guys, and I think these are quality guys too, don't get me wrong, and all their numbers and metrics are checking out, but you keep bringing in these guys at $1.5 million, it makes me think that they're saving their coin up for a hitter and a starting pitcher. So is it maybe fair to say that maybe Pete Fairbanks is on the back burner for right now?
Yeah, I would agree because it does, so much of how they've approached things does feel that way. Because they are, right now, if you're getting outspent by the White Sox at this point in the offseason, then
which is true,
it sure feels like you must be saving your money for something down the road. And so that's what, there's a lot of times these off seasons where I feel like you get the move before the move, and that's where we're in that part of the off season right now, where it's the lowercase m moves before the uppercase moves, because those are still coming. I would be very, very surprised if you don't get some of those bigger signings down the road. It's kind of, Joey, like we talked about yesterday, where your approach to the offseason has to be so much about taking the success of 2025 and assembling a roster that can not only match that success, but really you want to be taking a step forward. You want to be better in 2026 than you were in 2025. So that's a big part of why I think we're going to see those moves. It just might be January before that starts to happen.
And
yeah,
Jared,
go for it. Yeah,
I was gonna say, like as fans, we want that, but I don't understand some of the hate on Twitter and everything. Like Jed and Tom want that as well. I mean, you think they want to go backwards? Like they had, how many home playoff games at Wrigley Field? They saw that. I'm sure the revenue stream was really big with those postseason games. They want to go forward and not go backwards. It's a long off season. I personally hate baseball's off season. I do, because it's so drawn out. I wish there was like a window so we can kind of like have deadlines. Now with Amai, we do have a deadline, so at least that's going to be something that's resolved sooner than later. And again, I think that there's a lot of smoke there, so I feel like Amai is a guy that's going to be at the top of our rotation. I really believe that. Now again, the Bregman thing, I don't know. I don't think they're getting both Amai and Bregman. I'd be shocked if they do, but I do think they're going to get one or the other and then trade for the other, like whether it's an offensive or pitcher. That's what I've said all along, and it's still in play for sure.
Well, my friend, you're putting together a perfect transition. We're going to line up a break here because on the other side of the break, let's keep this conversation going, but we're going to move off of Jacob Webb. And I presented this to the group, and I want to walk through it because The title of today's episode is Who Will Be the Starting Third Baseman for the Chicago Cubs on opening day? And whoever that is, I think is going to tell you a lot about the 2 or 3 other moves that did or did not happen. And Justin, when you talk about Jed and Tom, I agree with you, but also how do they value their own players? Do they fall too much in love with guys? Do they fall too much in love with projections? And as a Cubs fan, of course, we want it all, right? And it's the holiday season. So, of course, our list is going to be very long. But at the same time, you want to make sure that every single move that they make, is impactful and going to help the Cubs in 2025. Jump in the chat right now. Real quick, who do you think is going to be the opening day third baseman for the Chicago Cubs in 2026? We're going to talk about that and more on the other side of the break. This is the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Let's hear some messages from some of our wonderful partners. Hey, Cubs fans, I want to tell you a little story about me and my first car. That's right. It was a Toyota Corolla. It was beautiful. It was gray. It had a cassette player that eventually became a CD player. And I rode that thing straight to around 180, 190,000 miles because it had the dependability that I needed at that time in my life. And right now, Toyotathon is on. You can get your Toyota while the getting is good and score value on, let's just see here, the versatile RAV4, America's #1 selling vehicle. You could ride in style with a Tacoma or the rugged Weekend Warrior or hit the road with Camrys available all-wheel drive. The Camry, it's a cousin of the Corolla. I love those cars. Right now, they have red-hot savings, and they are ready for you right now at Toyotathon. So here's what you got to do. Visit your Toyota dealer today. Remember, Toyota, let's go places. And when I went places, I went there in a Camry or a Corolla. Check out the Toyotathon today. We also want to talk to you about our wonderful partners at Bet365. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. They have the early football payout offer. So you can bet on the Chicago Bears or any NFL team. If that team goes up by 17 points, you get an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections that are marked as winners. Download the app right now and use the code CHGO365 when you sign up. They also have the 100% parlay boost. So you can double your winnings on parlays with Bet365. 100% parlay boost only when you download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. And let's just reiterate because the deal is so good. Right now, you get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. You can use that on player props, futures, more, whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365 when you use the code CHGO365. Remember, you must be 21 plus or older if you or someone you know has a gambling problem. Crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only. Coming back here on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota, Justin Roman, Jared Wyllys, Joey Christopoulos here sitting in for a very sickly Luke Stuckmeyer. I promise you guys, he would not miss this holiday episode. He's going to miss the Christmas draft, and it is just making him really, really upset right now. So hopefully he feels better. The whole family is sick right now, so hopefully they can feel better so they can just at least celebrate and smile a little bit on Christmas. Got some great comments here in the chat. Really quick, I want to do a Toyota super chat really quick because today and every day's episode is presented by Toyota. I want to make sure I get it right. What's this dude's name here? Chad Schultz says, how about Jay Cutler at third base? I mean, I'm not going to wag my finger at it. I think something went incredibly wrong if it comes to that. But we talked about the arm. You know he's got the arm. Yeah, and I guess at first base, Mark Grace was smoking heaters. Maybe we now have a guy smoking heaters at third base on the other side. Kind of flip it a little bit. Let's get into it here. And we're going to get into it by talking about who's going to be the Cubs third baseman on opening day with our segment, Taking the Temp at Four Seasons. It's Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. They've got some great, if you need a furnace checkup right now is the time to do it. And even if you don't need a furnace checkup, you have to stay on top of that stuff because you never know when it's going to go out. So make sure you call Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric to get that furnace. Make sure it's ready to roll throughout the rest of this chilly winter season. So taking the temp, gentlemen, Justin, I'm going to start with you. Let's just keep it simple, and then we're going to walk through it, right? Who for you in 2026 will be the Chicago Cubs third baseman on opening day?
Oh man, I see two paths here. I think if I'm a betting man, I would say Matt Shaw is your starting third baseman, and I'm very happy with that. I love what Shaw showed for a nice stretch in the second half of what he could do. The guy has hit wherever he's been. His glove is elite, so I love Matt Shaw at third base. So I really think it's going to be Matt Shaw. Now, there is a situation where I could see the Cubs spending on Alex Bregman, but I don't think they trade Shaw. Joey, we talked about this before. I think if they get Bregman, Shaw will be a super utility guy, or they would possibly trade Nico Horner and put Shaw at second base. I think Shaw is on this team no matter what next year. I really believe that, and I'm happy about that. I think he's a great player, and I think offensively there's a lot of potential there, and defensively he's been phenomenal. So if you're asking me, gun to my head, I say it would be Matt Shaw, your starting third baseman, but Bregman is on the outside there, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, Jared, what do you got, man? What do you think it's going to be when for opening day first pitch?
Yeah, I think as much as I'm tempted to say somebody different just for the sake of having some kind of differing opinion here, I feel the same way. I think it's going to be Matt Shaw, and I think a lot of that has to do with already what Justin alluded to, is the fact that if you look at Shaw's second half numbers at the plate in particular, they're not great. So it's not going to blow you away, but you have a guy who in the second half last season hit 258 with 11 homers, 10 doubles, 3 triples, putting the ball in play in a way in the second half that he wasn't in the first. And because, we know how things started last season, had to go back to AAA for a while, came up in May and was really hitting the ball well, cooled off a little bit in June, but then I think what you're seeing is a guy who kind of rode the waves of a rookie season at the plate, where you're going to have some real cold stretches, some really good stretches. And I think it's possible that we could see things level out in year 2. But Joey, like we talked about yesterday, there are some some questions about his mechanics at the plate, where there is the potential that, his ceiling as a hitter is lower than maybe we thought before he made his debut. But is it low enough that they're going to move on from the guy or go out and get Bregman and trade Shaw? I don't think so. So yeah, I do still think that Matt Shaw is your starting third baseman. I love the idea of Bregman. I don't see that being their focus. I think they're chasing pitching, and it's going to be Amai if they're spending money.
I'm so glad that you said that, because for my money, if it is Matt Shaw at third base on opening day, then Tetsuya Amai is almost mandatory, in my opinion. Because I don't know if you're not going to get an impact bat, and then you're telling me you're getting Zach Gallen, I don't know how that moves the needle. Or we start to get into the conversation of, and it's nuanced, right? But we talk about redundancy sometimes, like in a Cubs lineup or maybe in a rotation. Zach Gallen is an innings eater, much like a Jameson Taillon. Does he really take you to another level competitively? I'll have questions about that. Yeah, I had some really interesting conversations with some guys, specifically one dude. We were just talking about what a swing can do to a player. And look, to be very, very fair, and someone mentioned this on yesterday's show, and I think it is fair, you see adjustments all the time with major league hitters. Like, you see Pete Crow Armstrong go from a stand-up to a little bit more of a crouch. You've seen Anthony Rizzo change his hand position. I think, Jared, me and you specifically yesterday were talking about his load up and his swing path. I mean, it isn't just the load up with the leg, it's just where his hands are and then the swing path into it. There's a lot of moving pieces there, and he went through a lot of struggles last year that he worked really, really hard to get through, where he saw second half success. But you got to level that out and try and find some version of consistency. The reason why I want to bring up this question too as well was because I think if you're someone that thinks the Chicago Cubs are going to make a trade this winter, just from what I understand right now, if you're getting a pitcher of quality, Matt Shaw is going to have to be in that deal. I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that you're getting a substantive starting pitcher without Matt Shaw being in that deal. So having said that, that's why I think it's one or the other, right? I'm going to be a contrarian here. I think Alex Bregman is really important. I don't think he's like this incredible uber ultra all-star, but I will say this, that Dustin, I'm kind of looking at our lineup right now, and I get that Michael Busch is going to get better and PCA is going to get better. I understand all that, but you are definitely removing that Cody Bellinger, Kyle Tucker, pro day in and day out, professional at bat, guys who have an on-base percentage of over 36% with some power that can be clutch, that have been in some big games. We're not replacing that at this time. And I just feel like Alex Bregman is going to be really, really important to this team. Now, Justin, when I say Alex Bregman is your opening day starter, I'm with you, where I would hang on to Matt Shaw.
Yes.
Where now I think that you can get really creative and get really versatile, where if you have a Matt Shaw, maybe that pitcher around the deadline, maybe the Joe Ryan becomes more of a realistic scenario. And you have kind of this plethora to sort of work off a little bit. So Justin, I'm going to go with Alex Bregman, okay. but I think Matt Shaw is still going to be on the roster. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, and also, I disagree a little bit, Joey. I think we still have a plethora of guys that could also fetch you something. We have Owen Casey, we have Mo Baller, we have Jackson Wiggins. We have other pieces that could get you something, and they're not named Matt Shaw. Nico Horner is interesting for me because I'm the biggest Nico Horner fan in the world, but he's going into the last year of his deal. So to get rid of Matt Shaw without a Nico extension, if you have Bregman, it doesn't really make sense to me. I think that you hold on to Matt Shaw because the sky's the limit for that kid. I think, and here's a hot take, I think one of the best things that happened to Matt Shaw was for him to get overmatched in the playoffs, because he got a nice taste of success in the second half of the year, and then it's like a reality hit. I am not where I need to be. I got outmatched in the playoffs. So my hope is that he's working his butt off this offseason, getting faster, getting stronger, getting better, and you're going to see a more motivated Matt Shaw next year to be like, yo, I don't want to go back down to AAA. I want to be the starting third baseman or second baseman for the Chicago Cubs. I'm never going back. I think it's going to be a good thing when you look back that he got overmatched in the postseason.
Yeah, Jared, where are you? I mean, my thing with Bregman again is Jared, I'm just asking myself the question of who is the 3-4-5 in our lineup next year. I think it's safe to say they're gonna, Michael Busch, we saw a lot of success with him in the leadoff spot. Seiya Suzuki has spent a predominant amount of time in his career either in the 2 or the 3. So I'm just gonna slide him into the 2 right now. But after that, the 3-4-5, is it really Ian Happ, Moises Ballesteros, and Pete Crow-Armstrong? I just don't know. I don't know if that gets that done, and I think Bregman solves a lot of those issues for me.
Yeah, because I think it is a good way of thinking about Bregman is he's not Kyle Tucker, but it's that type of a hitter. It's that kind of a guy that can fill that spot, because if you don't have Kyle Tucker, you're not replacing him with somebody like Bregman, then you do have this pretty significant, I don't want to say a hole in your lineup, but there's a spot that needs a kind of hitter that you don't really have in that group. Seiya Suzuki is capable of being that kind of guy in stretches. Ian Happ even has some stretches where he can do that. I still hold out a lot of optimism that Pete Crow-Armstrong is going to develop into, a very, very good hitter. But what I'd like to see for a team that should be looking at trying to win the division in 2026 is having somebody who can be that and do it steadily, be that consistent presence in the lineup. So you're not going to have these stretches of games where there is that drop off at that 3-4-5 spot in the lineup, or at least a drop off in terms of the kind of production that you usually expect to get from those spots.
Yeah, a couple minutes here before we go to break, so I want you guys both to weigh in on this one. Look, if Matt Shaw is your opening day third baseman, I can also say the scenario that maybe Eugenio Suárez is your DH on opening day, right? That's definitely a possibility. And if Matt Shaw is your third baseman, clearly there clearly isn't a Bregman, and hopefully that there's a starter like an Amai that follows up between it. My one for you guys is, if you're starting third baseman on opening day, and look, we're just hypothesizing right now, is Kazuma Okamoto. Does that mean we have Tarek Skubal? Does that mean that we pulled off a huge trade? What does that look like? And obviously, we don't talk about the player a whole lot. He seems like a solid major league hitter. But if it is Okamoto at third base, I mean, that probably means Shaw is not on the team, correct?
I don't know. I think my answer is the same as Bregman. I mean, if Bregman's on this team, and Joe, you said it yourself, if Bregman's on this team, you don't think Shaw necessarily is going to be gone off this team. So if you get Okamoto, I mean, why can't Shaw still be your super utility guy or your second baseman, depending on what you do with Nico? I don't know. I just feel like Matt Shaw is a pure hitter, an elite defender, and he is very young in his contract. And if there's anything I know about Jed Hoyer is that he loves cost control players. 2016 we won the World Series because we had many cost control players. So I just feel like Matt Shaw is a Cub no matter what. And you kind of build. He's one of those like young guys you build around, in my opinion. You got PCA, you got Michael Bush, and you got Matt Shaw. Like those are, and then Kate Horton, obviously. Those are the young guys you're building this next great Cubs team around, and I'm here for it. So no matter who they get, Bregman or Okamoto, I still think Matt Shaw's on the team.
Yeah, and I think too, it's important to keep in mind, like, yes, you have these young cost-controlled players that are a big part of like what you're building around, because that is what the 2015, 2016 Cubs kind of really had so much success from. But they also, in addition to that, they supplemented nicely with the right kinds of veteran players. And that is still what feels a little bit like this group is lacking. You've got veterans, like you've got the Dansby Swansons, you've got those guys. But, when I'm thinking about the kinds of impact veterans that they need, that's where somebody like Bregman does feel like a good fit. That's why I like the idea of him more than, Okamoto. Like, I don't think that's a terrible option, but if I'm picking between the two, I still lean in favor of Bregman. But, Joey, if we take Okamoto and that means Tarek Skubal's on the roster, then, where do I sign? Let's do that.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Well, I just saying, like, Okamoto, let's be honest here, will cost probably half, maybe even more than that, 60-70% less than Bregman will cost. So maybe if that's the price of doing business to bring in an Amai and an Okamoto, okay, I can start wrapping my head around it. If Okamoto's your third baseman and that means that Shaw and other guys are in this gigantic package to bring in a big line frontline starter that you have control over, but also if it is a Skubal or a Joe Ryan getting closer to an extension, you want to lock up right away. So these are all these different things, and we've been hammering it here on CHGO Cubs that not one move is in a vacuum. These moves mean other things. Like Jacob Webb today for $1.5 million isn't just to get Jacob Webb. It means 3 or 4 possible other things for the Chicago Cubs. So on the other side of the break, we're going to take a break here really quick. Jump in the chat. We might get a little low before we get a little high. We're going to do the Christmas draft. Everyone stick around, but at the other side of the break and jump in the chat. As of today, with the roster currently constructed, how many games are the Chicago Cubs going to win in 2026? We're off for a couple of days. We don't know what's going to happen. It's coming to the end of the year, but as it stands right now, today, how many games are the Chicago Cubs going to win in 2026? But first, let's take a break to hear from our wonderful partners here on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Hey, Cubs fans, our friends right now at Sunnyside, they are here to elevate your football season and your holiday season because Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. Right now, they've got a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Remember, if you don't want to leave the house right now, they have an offer where you can get 50% off your first 3 online purchases only when you use the promo code HICHGO. And if you want to venture out of the house, they got spots everywhere for you in Illinois. They got a location for you. As far south as Champaign, as far north as South Beloit. Stop in today into the store that's nearest to you for the expert guidance from their expert staff. And if you don't want to leave the house, again, 50% off 3 online purchases when you use code HICHGO. And if you're a returning customer, you can still use the code CHGO50, but remember, exclusions apply. Sunnyside Dispensary, bright buys every day. Remember, only 121 plus or older or for Illinois medical card holders. And I don't know. It looks pretty nice outside, but the last couple of weeks, we all know that winter is here and it's here to stay. So you got to ask yourself the question, is your home's heating up for the challenge? You got a plumbing emergency? You got to call 4 Seasons. Electrical emergency? Call 4 Seasons. Need a new hot water tank installed today? Call 4 Seasons. Now is the time to schedule your 4 Seasons furnace tune-up. Thinking about a home, no whole home generator? They've got you covered. At 4 Seasons, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical and generator needs with no extra cost for nights, weekends, or holidays. Right now, you can save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with 4 Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. Furnaces, $39 a month. Furnace and AC combos, $57 a month. Call today and save $50 from their trusted local experts. It's Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. They've been serving the Chicagoland area for over 50 years. Remember, Four Seasons, your trusted local experts for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. For all their money-saving offers and money-saving coupons, check out Four Seasons. Coming back here in the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota, Tuesdays with Justin Roman, Jared Wyllys, Joey Christopoulos, Sarah running the ones and twos. Luke out sick today for our holiday episode. Again, just to reiterate, we're about 100 plus subscribers away on CHGO Sports from 100K. If you're in the chat right now, if you haven't subscribed yet, it's as easy as hitting the like button. It's completely free. Really nothing happens after that other than just making us happy and all the hard work that we've been putting in. And honestly, all the hard work that you guys do when you show up and hang out in the chat, put in your comments, make us think. Bring your insights and perspectives. We greatly appreciate it. So please do hit that subscription button. Christmas draft on the way. But again, I'm just asking this, and maybe I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek, guys. But Justin, you're going to go first on this one. It's just a reminder. It's just a reminder that the Cubs have some work to do in different people's eyes. And I'm already seeing various numbers in our chat here. But Justin, as the team is currently constructed. Now, this is going to change, but as it's constructed today, a reminder of what the Cubs still need to do. If the season started tomorrow, how many games are the Chicago Cubs going to win in 2026 if the season started tomorrow?
I need to clarify because I don't want someone to take this soundbite and run with it on the internet. Like there are still two major moves away happening on this team before opening day.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
Just, as I give my answer, remember, I still believe there are two major moves coming to the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, and you're going to be on the show, and we are allowed to change our mind and have an evolved thought on this at least 4 or 5 more times. This is December 2025.
Currently constructed, I will say I think this team wins 82 games with no other moves happening. I think the team, as they are right this second,
you're not far away from me. Yeah. Not far away from me. I'm so happy you said that. Jared, where you at?
Yeah, I'm going to fall right in about the same range. I think you're looking at about a 500 team. Both thinking about the moves they still need to make, but also what the rest of the division looks like. Because I see a lot of people in the chat rightfully pointing out that the Pirates have gotten a little better, the Reds have gotten a little better. So those are things you have to factor in too. So I'm going to, I'll call it a straight 500 season with this current roster.
I'm with you guys. The number in my head right now is honestly, I think this is a 79 win baseball team right now. For a couple reasons. One, again, I just keep going back to, and this is where Jed deserves credit, right? Like Jed got bold in 2023 and brought in a guy like Cody Bellinger and took a chance on him. He was rewarded with that, with an amazing first half of baseball from Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger didn't get the money that he wanted. He re-signed with the team. He came back. He didn't have as good of a season, was still, I believe, like a 770 OPS player, an incredibly professional at bat, and a guy that you just didn't have to worry about in an offensive lineup on a day-to-day basis. Cody Bellinger moves on, and then he gets bold, and then he brings in a guy like Kyle Tucker. I'm just having a hard time thinking, and this could be a starting pitcher or an impact bat. I'm having a hard time thinking Jed's just going to leave that unsaid this season going into next year. And I think that type of player, whether it is a frontline starter or an impact bat, this team needs that right now. Because even I'm singing the praises of Cody Bellinger, that was an 83 win baseball team. Right. Kyle Tucker, when Kyle Tucker was Kyle Tucker in the first half, we were like 90 plus wins. Can we win the pennant? Can we win the World Series? When things went sideways, yeah, we were a couple games over 500, but we just did not look the same on offense, Justin, as we did before. And we're having this exercise because I feel like it isn't just about Cubs fans demanding the shiny toy. I mean, I just think this is a mandate to get us back to not only where we were last year, but push it forward a little bit more. I do believe that these moves are going to happen, but 79 wins for me right now. If they did nothing the rest of the way, that's probably where I'm landing right now. And maybe that should be a sense of urgency for them to maybe try and get these deals done. And I don't know, maybe with a pitcher in the next 10 days.
Yeah. And Gary Ross, great point right here. Cubs are a full pitcher short and a full batter short. And I totally agree with you. And I think both those things are going to be addressed before opening day. Corey's rest.
Oh, Seacrest, yeah.
Seacrest, sorry.
Corey Seacrest, yeah.
I think he's got a great one as well. The last year's Cubs missed out on an elite Justin Steele, and Shota definitely declined in the second half. That would have helped a bunch. Absolutely. I think right now our floor is pretty good, but I don't think that Jed's going to be happy with the floor. I think he's out there. I think 2 big moves are still coming. My prediction is 1 via free agency and 1 via trade. And I think that, they don't want to go backwards, guys. I mean, I know a lot. Ricketts gets a lot of hate. I see it all the time. And I get called a homer all the time. And I'm too positive. I get it. But as a businessman, he doesn't want to go backwards. He wants more playoff games, not less. He wants first place, not third place. So, again, baseball free agency is a whole different monster. I do hate how long it is. But it is what it is. But before opening day, I see 2 more big moves. They will address the pitching and they will address the bench.
Yeah, and Jared, when we're talking about Jacob Webb today, I think that raises the floor of the bullpen, right? I think that's a good thing about today. But I think this team just needs a little more insulation with what is already pretty rock solid. I'm kind of banking on a slight regression from Carson Kelly next year. And I think that's okay because I think that's the type of player that he's always been. I'm hoping for progression from Matt Shaw. I don't know if I'm going to get it. I'm hoping I get progression in the sense of consistency from PCA at an all-star level, but that seems to be asking a lot. And I'm thinking progression from Michael Busch, but these aren't really bankable qualities. And I think right now it's okay for Cubs fans to say, yeah, this is kind of a 500-ish team right now. But again, a couple moves, 1 or 2 huge moves, or even 1 really impact move, then I think we're right back to where we were last year with our expectations.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about having what is already a pretty solid foundation, where it doesn't necessarily take a lot to really propel you into that next tier of win totals. So, yeah, what looks like a potentially frustrating team right now, it's still a solid foundation. And as somebody, I've already lost track of who it was in the comments, but pointed out that when you don't have Steele last season, Shota's not quite Shota in the second half. Joey, like you mentioned, Kyle Tucker wasn't really Kyle Tucker in the second half, and you were still able to get to where you were. I'm optimistic, a little more optimistic maybe than some people about when Justin Steele will come back, how well he's going to pitch, and Shota's ability to bounce back from some of his late season struggles, those kinds of things. So I very much look at this and I say, I feel good about this foundation, but I agree they need more. They need impact in order to really propel them to the next level.
I got to address something. One of the comments made me laugh. Tim Ad11 says that the guy on the right worked for Marquee. That's referring to me because he's probably thinking I'm just a mouthpiece but I'm not. I'm an optimistic Cubs fan. I really am. And let me go through it fast. If they don't sign anybody right now, and they will, and they're going to, okay? But if they don't, you have Ian Happ, PCA, and Seiya Suzuki in your outfield. You have Matt Shaw, Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, Michael Busch as your infield, and Miguel Amaya and Carson Kelly as your backstops. That is not a bad team. And they're going to add to it, but that's not a bad team. All right, pitching staff. Let's go through it here. You have Cade Horton, who I think is going to be an ace for years and years and years to come. You have Matthew Boyd. You have Jamison Tyone. You have Shota Imanaga, who, for the record, a year and a half of 2 years, was a really good all-star type pitcher. Okay, he had a bad second half, but I think it's going to be corrected. You have Colin Ray. You have depth, right? Daniel Palencia as your closer. I'm describing a good team, and again, I think that Jed Hoyer is going to add. So, again, you could say that I'm a mouthpiece. I don't work for Marquee. I am an optimistic Cubs fan, but everything I said right now, that's a good team, and it's going to get better before opening day.
I mean, if Marquise wants to have us on their channel, I think we would improve their content model. I'll just say that.
Hey, I used to have a show on Marquee. I don't anymore. Okay, I'm with CHGO.
Justin is your friend. Mistake.
That's
their mistake. That's their mistake. No, their mistake, my friend.
Their loss, our game.
No. You don't cut Tuesdays with Roman loose. What are we talking about here?
Thank you.
All right, guys. Yeah, of course, dude. Of course, guys. All right, it's time to it's round into holiday shape time. We're gonna take one more break here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. On the other side, waiting with bated breath. And I have Luke's picks too as well. So Luke will be participating. It is the annual CHGO Cubs Christmas draft. Join in, jump in the chat, and then afterwards hop on Twitter to weigh in on the poll of who wins and who loses. But first, one more message from our wonderful partners here at the CHGO Cubs Podcast, presented by Toyota. All right, athletes, listen up, because I got a question for you. Are you serious next year, 2026, about taking your game up to the next level? Because the right coach can change everything for you. And right now, it is never easier to find a coach that can take that game to the next level than Eye on the Ball. It's the company created by CHGO diehards, so they are friends of ours, and we absolutely love it. It doesn't matter if your kid or you, the athlete, is just starting out, or now you're competing at the top level. You could always use that extra coaching, and you can sign up totally free right now at eyeontheball.net. Create your profile, search through coaches in your sport, and connect directly with the one that's right for you. From soccer to swimming, baseball to basketball, not ping pong, table tennis, maybe. You name the sport right now. The coaches are there waiting for you. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach is one click away. Jump on today at eyeontheball.net. That's eyeontheball.net. Find your coach and take your game to the next level. This company created by CHGO diehards. Go to eyeontheball.net today. And right now, there are new vehicles that are in store at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. And this is your chance to score a great deal at the year-end sales event. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. And right now, you can get $0 down and 0 payments until March on all new Ray CDJR models. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. They got a friendly team of brand experts. The team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey in 2026. Plus, since they prioritize affordability, you know you won't overpay for the vehicle that you need. And Ray's price promise means you can shop confidently. No add-ons or hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. It's that simple, and we love it here at CHGO. So go check out your partner today to shop one of Chicago area's large inventories, find the right new vehicle for you, and then drive home happy. The team at Ray CDJR is the one that we recommend. Head to their year-end sales event right now, or visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake, or online, raycdjr.com today. Round and third, heading home here on the CHGO Cubs Podcast, presented by Toyota. Joey Christopoulos, Justin Roman, Jared Wyllys, Sarah on the ones and twos. Craig Brindle, who I always love in the chat with the Toyota Super Chat, just really quick, just threw in, he's always trade Shaw for Skubal. Now he's trade Shaw, sign Bregman or Bichette. So he's still dreaming, but it's a little bit more grounded in reality. But I love the consistency, and Craig is here for every single show. We deeply appreciate him. Okay, here we go. It's the annual Christmas draft, everybody. It's a snake draft, so that means that, here we go. Oh, thank you, Sarah. So I'm going to go first. Jared second, Justin third. Luke will be making 2 selections, and then we'll come back around to Justin. This can be anything and everything. How do you get your Christmas on, and how do you like to enjoy your Christmas? So with the number 1 pick in the Christmas draft, I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to go with a steady high floor pick here. I'm going with Christmas tree, okay? No matter where you are, no matter how tall, no matter how small, nothing makes you feel the joy of Christmas like a beautiful Christmas tree. I remember before I moved to LA, I was living in an apartment, and it was cold outside in Chicago, and I was a week away from moving to LA, and I saw a Christmas tree across the street, and it just gave me that feeling of, man, am I going to miss this city? Nothing brings out an emotion like a beautiful, well-done Christmas tree. My wife makes an amazing Christmas tree with Italian ornaments every single year. Number 1 pick off the board, Christmas tree. Jared, you are on the clock.
That is a solid first pick. But I got to go with the thing that has brought me the most joy the last few weeks, last couple of months even, is knowing that on Thursday, I'm going to wake up on Christmas morning and the Chicago Bears are in first place.
Ooh!
So, that's my Christmas joy.
That's great. I love that.
Oh, man, that's great.
I kind of want that one now. We can't trade, can we? All right. Justin. You're up.
Guys, I don't want to make you look bad, but I'm going with Jesus. I mean, the reason that we're having Christmas in the first place, I go with Jesus all day, every day.
Oh, it's true. It's true. You do it all day, every day. No, that's not a joke. Man, that's a powerful one. That's a powerful pick. Okay, guys. So I got a snake draft here coming for Luke. Luke is sick right now, so I don't know if these are the meds or whatever. But right now he's going first pick in the first round. He's going with chicken soup. So he's going with chicken soup. And also a really funny, interesting story. I'm also going to select for him we're going to take a movie off the board here. The first Christmas movie off the board. We're taking Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
Who Luke says might be one of his top 5 movies of all time. He told this great story about him and some buddies when he was in his 20s. They had a couple pops and went into a packed movie theater, and people were rolling in their seats watching Christmas movie and laughing and having a great time, and it's like burned in his mind. I think that's a great Christmas memory. So Christmas Vacation and Chicken Soup off the board to Luke.
All right, I'm gonna piggyback Luke. I agree. Christmas Vacation is the greatest Christmas movie of all time. That is my vote. But okay, I am going to go with the top 2 picks of any draft. I have Jesus in the first pick. My second pick is Santa.
Oh
Santa
my
Claus.
God, this 1-2 punch.
Guys, I don't know how I'm going to lose this. I mean, Jesus and Santa, I think I win this in a landslide.
Good start. All right, Jared. You got the Chicago Bears right now. They do lead the league. They do lead the league in takeaways, but it is Jesus and Santa now on the other side.
I mean, we might as well call off the rest of the draft. But I'm going to come in with what I think is a really strong second round pick, and that is all the gifts have been opened, all of the the wrapping's all been cleaned up, all the madness of the morning is done, and you turn on that Christmas movie. Maybe it's Christmas Vacation, and you get on the couch and you doze off. It's that post-present Christmas nap.
Oh, yeah. Like the Knicks are playing. It's like Knicks Pacers.
Some NBA game that I don't really care about, but I'm going to turn it on anyway, and I'm going to fall asleep. Yes.
That's a great one. That's a good one. Okay, here we go. I took Christmas Tree, strong start. I got to take a movie off the board because it's near and dear to my heart, and it's actually right behind me on vinyl. I'm going to go with Home Alone. I'm taking Home Alone, and man, God, I really want to do Political Uncle right now, but it's too early for Political Uncle around the holidays. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the Roast Beast, or no, I'm going the Grinch. I'm taking the Grinch. I need a guy. I've gone with too many people. I need a guy to go up against Jesus and Santa. I'm taking the Grinch for Christmas. Back to you, Jared.
All right. So round 3, this to me is easy. Calories don't count. You eat whatever you want, however much you want. That's one of the joys of Christmas too, is you just get after it. Nobody cares. So it's the one day I don't use my Fitness Pal app and track my food. So that's my round 3 pick is calories don't count. Just go to town.
Binge eating, I think is what it is.
Binge eating, yes. Binge eating for short.
I could really bury you guys with my 3rd round pick, but I'm not going to. I'm going to
if you take frankincense, I'm going to lose it.
No. So I'm going a tradition in my house that we're all looking forward to it. And Joey, you know this, my wife is a phenomenal baker, and she makes homemade cinnamon rolls for Christmas morning every single year. And I'll be honest, I've given up sweets for a while, but I said holidays don't count. So I'm looking forward to the homemade cinnamon rolls that my wife makes on Christmas morning.
Ooh, all right. That's good. That's tasty.
For the record, just so you guys know, I was going with Christmas Mass as my 3rd. But I was like, I'm not going to bury you guys with Jesus, Santa, and Christmas Mass. So I decided to pivot a little bit to give you guys a chance here. Okay.
It's very kind of you.
Yes.
Because Luke's got some heavy hitters here. Okay. Luke is going to be selecting Vicks Vapor Rub for Christmas. Vicks Vapor Rub for Christmas. And it looks like he's also going to be selecting Kleenex. Okay, Luke, we see what you're doing with this draft. I don't think you're going to win.
No.
I don't think you've been winning the last couple of days. But yeah, Vicks Vapor Rub and Kleenex. Back to Justin here. We got about 5 minutes to go.
All right.
This is taking shape. We're looking good.
I'm going with Chicago's Christmas weather. I mean, I was outside playing catch with my son before this podcast. It was 50 degrees, and it looks like all week long it's going to be amazing outside. So I would take Christmas weather as my 4th round pick because, when we get outside in December in just a hoodie, that's a win for all of us.
That's a good one. All right, Jared. Jared right now has the first place Bears, a Christmas nap. Calories don't count. I don't know. That's not the right order, but I see what your day is looking like. I see what it's like.
Yeah. Well, and to continue building off of that, I'm a big fan of the Christmas Day cigar. So in some years it's harder to pull off than others, but this year to play off of what Justin just said, that Christmas cigar is going to be even nicer.
So I'm going to bring it home here. Justin, I thought you were going to do it. I'm really glad you didn't. I think it's the same. It's the same one as cinnamon rolls, though. I'm taking I did it growing up. It's super fun, but like Christmas cookies.
Yes.
Any kind of cool Christmas cookie could be in the shape of a tree, a Santa reindeer. You decorate them, do whatever. Sarah, she's been making the ones with the Hershey Kisses in the middle, like the sugar cookie with the Hershey Kiss in the middle. That's a Christmas classic. So I'm going Christmas cookies, and then for my final pick, I gotta pick a song, guys, and I feel like I get the top of the list here.
Ooh.
I'm going Wham's Last Christmas.
Nice.
Wham's Last Christmas is my Christmas song, and that wraps up my team. Back to Jared.
I'm amazed that I still have this on the board for the 5th round.
Is this the Jacob Webb? Is this the Jacob Webb of picks?
The look on my children's faces when they get their gifts.
Yeah.
That's really my first round pick, but that's the ultimate for me.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
And
a good one.
The funny thing is you just stole that because I was like looking at my list and I'm like, I can't say it right now, but we're surprising our boys with like a really cool surprise gift that I can tell you guys after Christmas. So that is going to be phenomenal. But okay, if I have to pivot from that, I'd say just honestly just a blanket of family. I love spending the time with my wife, my 2 boys. My mom will be here for overnight when Santa comes, and then we go spend the whole day with my sister and my brother-in-law, my niece and nephew. Just the family being close, no work, no distractions, unless Jed signs a my. Then there will be a distraction because I'll be on my phone nonstop. But besides that, just being with family and no stress, no drama, no distractions. That's my last pick.
And Luke is taking cough medicine with his last pick. So he's staying true to form and just cough drops, cough medicine. He literally said he had an animal in his chest today.
That poor guy.
That's a terrible feeling.
Like we should get his filters changed at the house because I feel like people are always sick in his house. Something's going on with his house and the air conditioning or the heat. I don't know, man.
Sounds like he needs 4 seasons. Okay, here we go. We got 2 minutes left to go in the episode. Let's keep it simple and let's keep it in the holiday spirit. We're all going to go around and not your team, but you're going to say who is your favorite pick from someone else's team. We're going to give each other out a compliment and then we're going to call it a day. Jared, what was your favorite pick that you did not make?
I mean, that's easy. With Justin going with Jesus in the first round. I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't do it. So, it's so much respect for that. So yeah,
can you imagine them running the pick and roll, or like them hitting 3-4, or pitching game 1, game 2. It's like, Justin, man.
Sorry guys. Well, let me piggyback on and do a compliment here because Jared, the looks on your kids' faces, that also is something that should have been higher on my list. Not higher than Jesus, but still it should have been higher because we're really excited about the surprise we're doing for the boys. And again, we'll tell you guys after we give it to them. But I'm going to tear up just thinking about it.
I'm gonna go with the Jesus and Santa's. Jesus and Santa's pretty good. I gotta give Luke a compliment for committing to the bit. Because that's all he wants for Christmas right now is just cough medicine and trying to feel as good as possible. Corey Seacrest here says yes. We're also made homemade. Oh, what was it?
They're making cinnamon rolls as well. Like his wife makes cinnamon rolls as well. So that's cool.
That's great. That's awesome. And honestly, like Jared, Bears, baby.
Yeah.
Bears. I honestly, I didn't think about that one. That was off the board the whole time. And that one's absolutely incredible.
And guys, can I just say really fast before we hit? I mean, think about what a year it's been for CHGO. The Cubs went to the playoffs. I believe it was the first playoffs that CHGO had, or real playoffs. And the Bears are going to the playoffs. I mean, it's been a really good ramp up here for CHGO going into next year. And the sky's the limit, man. Let's keep it going, right?
When I joined the company about a year ago, I always felt like I just wanted to see what all their, like, the company works so hard. You guys see it. Jared, you work so hard, man. You're juggling a lot, like, in this life, man. And you still do amazing work for the website covering both the Sox and the Cubs. And I just wanted to see what would happen if these Chicago teams got good.
Yeah.
What would happen if CHGO's hard work was ever paired with teams actually being good in this town, and for fans that deserve it, and fans that are like, I want to talk and hear about sports right now. That's what CHGO does. We hop on right away when news breaks, and that's what we do. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see what would happen. And you're right, Justin. Like, Bears, we saw it with Cubs, man.
Yeah.
You know, people showed out, dude. I mean, our numbers were out of control. You know what I mean? And that's what makes me so optimistic about 2026.
Yes.
We're gonna throw this Christmas draft up on our Twitter, CHGO_Cubs. Please hop on there. Please lock in. I mean, vote for me so I just don't get 0. That would be sweet.
If I lose, there's something wrong with the world. If I lose, there is something.
Right. I think I'll even vote for you. So
it is on Twitter. So who knows what's going to happen? Let's be real here. But guys, thank you so much for hopping on. Shout out to our producer, Sarah, who always does amazing work behind the scenes. She is the best. Happy holidays, everyone, from our team at CHGO. And CHGO Cubs to yours. Please like the video, subscribe to our channel again as we make our race towards 100K towards the end of the year. Shout out to Luke, who's one of the best leaders and captains of this show possible. We're sorry that you're down, man, but you're not out. We will see you soon. Justin Roman, Jared Wyllys, Joey Christopoulos. From everyone here at CHGO, happy holidays. Or maybe we'll see you for an emergency pod, but until then, we are going to sign off for now. And like Luke always says, remember, no matter what happens, always fly the W.
Merry Christmas!